Hi everyone, SoulServer17 here. Let me get sure as usual. I do not own this. Basically, pictures. I made the thumbnail. This is a non-paid video. So, I decided to basically do this, and then I'm gonna, kind of make these not one shots, but I'm gonna just make this. I keep forgetting to get into watching more Pokemon to do the Pokemon What If. I've just been watching YouTube and watching Naruto What Ifs, I guess, just to try to get some, not ideas, but it's inspiration where it's, just to add in certain things into Naruto What Ifs or any other What Ifs, basically, that could work in some way or form. Not basically that I could think that will work in that What If. My own idea, but just something, when you basically see something and then you get inspiration and then you basically, make something out of clay. And basically it's like a tree that looks like a monster and then you make the clay. Yeah, that type of inspiration. So yeah. This one really came out of left field for me, actually. This is kind of a unique one I thought of. So, a little bit of a backstory in this What If, or I would say is, yeah, Danzo had a brother. That's one of the changes. His brother was the opposite of Danzo. Danzo was actually really nice before his brother died. Yeah. Naruto, basically, he has the berserk armor, but this is basically about Danzo's family. And with Naruto, basically, you'll see why. It's kind of, how should I say this? They have some connection, but Danzo's not basically only related to him in only one way, but not truly related to him because it's not his father. So, yeah. Also, basically, Naruto basically has Gus's will, you can call it. It's been passed on ever since before Gus died. Am I bringing some demons into basically from from Berserk into here? Yes, but I'm gonna say after hundreds of years of not being in the human world, they have grown strong to the point where basically they don't really need to be in the human world or even care for it. Not even Chakra, because Kaguya came around, it kind of became poisonous for them to actually kill humans. You see, Chakra basically kills demons in this. So yeah, so basically it's more of a threat to be on Earth than, going to town killing random people, because everyone has chakra. But demons have evolved also basically to look more human-like. They can take two forms, a human form and basically a monster form, but still look human. I only know a few, berserk demons that ever do look human, but all of them actually look human now. But they can go into a third state, which is a demonic state, which will be their true form. If they didn't were basically looking human and be more powerful in that way. So yes, Naruto basically has Gus's will. So that wolf, that desire to basically never to die, to be angry, as we know him, he's angry. He will basically go and basically kill every demon or anyone who tries to kill him. And the Berserk armor enhances that tenfold, in my opinion, and basically keep him going. Basically, his inner demon, which Naruto has the Nine Tails, we know. But the fact is, there's Naruto's inner demon, not the Nine Tails, his own. So, yes. Basically, I'm gonna basically just say that much. Basically, there's a lot of things that have changed, that are gonna happen, like, I kind of thought it'd be kind of nice to have go back to basically female Sasuke in this one, for a little bit, just for just one What If. I kind of want to change it up from my normal ones I've been doing. So yeah, I'm gonna basically put when I basically start, so if you don't want to hear it, Anyways, let's get started. This is basically part 1 of Berserk Armor Naruto found. So, we start off in Wave, where Naruto basically was talking to Sakura. You see, they're basically trying to do the tree walking, which Sakura basically was trying to get Sasuke out on a date, which Sasuke was annoying her. But, well, Naruto basically tried to get Sakura's attention by saying something that Sakura did not like about, basically, the Uchiha. In which, well, she starts to badmouth Naruto, belittle him, and say something that basically will never, ever could take back. Basically his parents should have basically, how should I say this? For this one, for Naruto, I want him to not have a hard life like Gus, but just enough for him to basically hate everything in the village, or hate a lot of people. So, in a sense, Sakura basically will say that basically she would, basically his parents should have, basically killed him or got rid of him, like her mom said. And that basically she agrees with wholeheartedly. And so that shocks Naruto, Kakashi, and Sasuke. Or, well, female Sasuke name, Sasuke. And Naruto's eye, starts to have water down his eyes because he thought Sakura was was a friend of his. And so, this is unknown to him. As she basically Sakura is looking at him, and Naruto can see pure, utter satisfaction in her eyes. And that switches to fear because Naruto eyes basically had sadness, but then in a quick second, they turn to pure, utter hate. Massive amount of hate that she never saw Naruto ever had. A burning, basically, flame that was kept basically small, but now it's lit. As he just looks at her, and he goes, Haruno, I hope you die a most painful death, and just run off. Even though he's crying, he basically said what he wanted to the point. He's not gonna sugarcoat it, no. He literally says he just wants her to die. And so yeah, give me a minute. And so before Kakashi or Sasuke, that shocks, Kakashi a bit, could say anything, Naruto's gone faster than they ever saw him. And Sakura basically, even though she's scared, she just scoffs in, good riddance, we don't need him here. Is that right, Sasuke? As before she even finished her sentence, yeah, Sasuke has her pinned to a tree with a kunai at her neck. Which Sakura's in shock, because all she sees is hatred towards her. So much hate, like from Naruto, but to a lesser extent. Because she's not in shock, but surprised. You do, I would say, we're still gonna have the whole entire life situation where basically Sasuke's Sharingan will basically come out. But I want to say it's nearly there due to this hate towards Sakura. As basically what they know as Sasuke, who basically say to her, give me one reason why I shouldn't kill you. She goes, but she would say, Sasuke-kun, basically, we don't need him. We don't need that baka. You want to kill me? I love you. And the kunai's pressing at her neck, a little bit more to where there's drawn blood as Kakashi stops him. Well, Kakashi knows the truth, but, stops him. And which basically, Kakashi's looking at Sasuke's looking back, and he nods no. And he just drops her and walks away to leave some steam. Sakura basically puts her hand on her neck, and she sees blood. She couldn't believe Sasuke was about to kill her for Naruto. She's about to blame and say, it's all because of Naruto's fault Sasuke hates me. As basically a killer intent rolls off of Kakashi as that shuts Sakura up, and he says, "We're gonna have a lot of talk about Sakura." Meanwhile with Naruto. Naruto's running in he doesn't know where, he doesn't care. He's just running. He's basically pushing his muscles to the limit, and he thinks, I was a fool! Such a fool to think I could make her my friend. I thought, because I spent time with her, even though she hated me, I could have. Just because those villagers. It's all their fault. As killer intents rolling off of him as basically it's scaring basically nearby, animals. As then basically he's trying to ring it in as flashes of a girl nearly dying as three basically civilians were about to kill her as that basically image, was playing. His basically killer intent rose beyond basically a normal human killer intent. As then he reins it in quickly. He goes, "Don't lose control," he says to himself. And it's because he doesn't want the Kyuubi to take over, but no matter what he does, the mask slipped off, and it can never go back, he knows it. And so, we have Naruto would basically stop running and panting finally, and just saying, "How long have I been running?" He looks up, and he's been running for like 2 hours. His eyes widen. He goes, "This is the longest I've ever run." Now, set to fall back and be with that Haruno girl and Sasuke Tem. As when he basically catches his breath, he looks around. He sees this big giant area where there's basically whirlpools happening in the distance and an island. Which he goes, "Wait, what the?" As then his basically instincts kick in, and he looks to the side, his left side, and he sees this tree, this hollowed out tree. He goes, "What? Why?" As he doesn't understand, but he just starts, going towards it. And when he basically gets to the tree, he, touches the inside and accidentally presses basically a button, which opens up basically a, staircase going down. And when he basically is going down into basically this cellar or, basement, he basically sees multiple different seals on the wall. He goes, "What the? Why are seals here?" He's curious. So, in a sense, he follows the pathway as basically everything in his body is telling him to keep going. Not telling him to run, but go further. As when he basically gets to a door, he doesn't notice the seal on the handle basically glowing, and then he just hears a click because he opens it right when it clicked. And when he basically opens up the door, he sees this armor. The armor looks like what you see in the picture. He sees the armor, and then the Dragon Slayer sword leaning against the wall. Which goes, "What the? What? Why is there armor here?" So he sees basically, a forge, a desk, and books and scrolls. And he basically goes over to it. And no one knows this, but Naruto has been hiding his true skills, in which he has basically can read and write, pretty well. And basically has been trained to the point where exhausting himself, but never given up. Overextending his training to where he even passed out during the night, and basically only slept for about 3 hours or 5 hours or so, and get back up and train more. So his strength, his speed is very different. In this what if, I want to point that out. Now, when he reads, goes, "If you have entered this room, you are part of the Uzumaki clan." Which Naruto goes, "Uzumaki clan? I have a clan?" But Why didn't Gigi tell me? As then he basically reads more, and it says this. Even though you may be part of the clan, you probably are wondering why no one knows about us. A war is coming, and I may be afraid that we may be wiped out by our enemies. I have recently, well, even though the war has not come, I fear basically multiple ninja villages will side with each other to destroy basically the Uzumaki clan home. I cannot say that name right. Give me a minute. Uzumaki, correct? That's the only way I can say it like that. Uzu. There we go. Uzu. In which, if so, then it does not matter which Uzumaki you are, as long as you have Uzumaki blood in you. You must find basically the nine-tailed fox Jinchuriki, Kushina Uzumaki, or if she has died, her child, and give them this armor. This armor has great potential and a great curse. As basically there was like, when it said, curse next, which Naruto's eyes widened to basically knowing his clan was wiped out by ninja villages, and basically, this was on the first page, and so what happens next is when he keeps reading, it goes like this. This armor we found a long time ago near basically basically our home. We did not know anything about it until we found the book from a man named Guts. It told about his adventures, what he's done, what happened, and many more things that we should not think should be possible, but if ninjas exist and chakra and God and the rabbit goddess exist, why not demons? Which Naruto's eyes widen and then narrow. He goes, demons? He just slightly chuckles, goes, and that explains why Konoha civilians are demons to me. In which then, basically, he reads more, and basically it tells about the demons who have been grotesque, basically creatures that have been brought basically by Griffin, a friend of Guts at the time, and what happened. We kept the journal basically preserved with Uzumaki seals. I recommend you reading it after basically this, and basically reading the scrolls that are basically on this desk of what we have done, because the armor was not intact when we found it. We had to reforge it, remade it. We add certain seals onto the armor, because we found out basically what it would do. This armor basically would keep you going until the very last drop of your blood. But it brings out the inner monster within you, your inner demon. We had someone test it out, and immediately, basically, it was hard to even remove the armor from after we restrained that person. Which Naruto cannot believe it, by this armor's power, just how armor could do this. He doesn't believe it, but he basically still reading. It was, so, Mito Uzumaki was the one who put it on, and she said that she was the one that was restrained. Which Naruto's eyes widened because Mito Uzumaki, I read that basically she was married to the first Hokage. And so basically it says, we asked about the description of basically what she felt. She said hate. So much hate that she has been keeping away inside of her. She saw something, a version of a monster. While she was wearing the armor just for that short time, she realized she says, it was her inner demon. The part of her that she keeps in chains to never be released for anyone to see. And so, we have concluded this armor will bring out your inner demon, the part of you never want anyone to see. any part. Your greed, your hate, your lust, your desire, all of that this armor will bring out and consume your mind to become where you will be berserk. As what Gus said, this is the berserk armor, which basically Naruto reads more and more of the book. It in the description basically what is part of the seals is on it, and him being amazed by the seals, and basically it tells about each basically with time of the entry, and basically it's the last one. Kumo, Aiwa, and well, the Mist Village have basically had a truce, an alliance to basically destroy Uzu. We will not use this armor because it may bring out something that we can never defeat. And no one has basically brought, well, probably the armor to the basically Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. For that, I hope basically what I'm saying is not true. In which Naruto's eyes widen because he goes to the first page and basically read what it says, and then goes back to the page he was reading. If you are wondering why basically I'm saying that, well, after reading everything in the book to this page, you must know we had to do a lot of time and seals on it. It took basically a very long time. So that's why I said this armor will help the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Because we think, or our idea was, to use this armor to control said power within the person if they cannot handle the Nine-Tails chakra, to at least keep it fluctuating within you without losing yourself to the hate. Which Naruto cannot believe how basically reckless but ingenious that may sound. So, he just says, this will be the last entry I ever made. Signed, basically the Uzu Kage, whatever name. Which basically Naruto cannot believe it. So he goes and reads Gus' book immediately. And, well, he finds out basically the hard truth. Demons existed before, chakra. And, well, anything else. And that they were not nice. They were cruel, but humans could be crueler, which he knew way too well from Gus. Well, basically, not from Gus, from himself, basically, in life. And basically, Gus' life was harder than his, but still, he basically can't empathize with him. But the part where basically him being called a demon, well, that he can't. So, after he's done reading the book, he basically reads the scrolls and he finds out there's multiple seals. One for a blood absorbent seal that will basically absorb blood to keep you going. And basically a filter seal for the blood. Basically a mind seal to keep your mind calm and collected during basically wearing the berserk armor. And a memory seal to keep basically a memory and grab onto it. To keep it, you basically to not lose yourself. As it says, this seal is designed to basically bring out basically what you treasure, your most happiest memories, to not lose yourself in all that hate. So Naruto basically understands that. And basically seals basically to basically increase the weight of the armor if needed, to basically even basically only basically register Uzumaki, and basically, well, strength enhancing seals just in case they can't lift the sword. And plus size seals, one that will basically have the armor grow with the person. So after reading everything and legit, basically, looking at the armor, he decides as he walks towards it and basically grab the armor. Well, basically by the shoulder. As we cut to basically Sasuke. Sasuke is basically, Sasuke basically is basically just punching and cutting basically the tree she's been at, saying about how Sakura is an idiot. She doesn't know nothing about what Naruto has been through. She doesn't know nothing basically, and that she has no right to basically say anything about Naruto. So basically, after huffing and puffing, she basically just looks at the tree and just says, "I hope you get back safe, Naruto." Naruto doesn't wait. A few days pass. Naruto has not basically arrived, and it's basically time for the day for Zabuza. So at this point, everything goes to canon, but we're not gonna stay here. At the bridge with Zabuza and Haku's fight, because that would go the same about Naruto. So where we're going is basically to an underground base, where a man who's looking over files of the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, has... Every time he looks at this file, he has this sense of pain. Not of anger, but of hurt. And he never understood why. He always put it in the back of his mind as it was stupid to think anything of it because he was a fool. But memories surfaced of a picture of his brother. A brother basically he treasured, his older brother. As Danzo basically is looking back at it again, even though he's trying to keep his emotions emotionless, he basically looks at it with sadness and, guilt. So, he has basically a root Anbu already checked out, basically his blood with Minato's, Namikaze's, and his brothers. In which, when they come back, they kneel with basically the files, in their hand. Which he goes, report. Well, basically was the conclusion. As basically, they hand the papers to the full to Danzo, and they said, you should look for yourself, Danzo-sama. In which, when Danzo basically reads, he basically drops the folder. And he cannot believe it. It was a match. Minato Namikaze matches to his brother's, DNA, and to himself, because that was his nephew. As he's remembered every interaction with basically the fourth Hokage. And, he's also remembered every time his brother, how he was selfish sometimes. He didn't, care about his own self. He basically always run into danger to save comrades or help out any ways he can. Unlike Danzo, who is cautious and calculative, his brother always rushed in. And basically had that same type of coldness to him when he's fighting somebody to protect someone. As he cursed himself for not seeing the signs sooner. But then that realization, as then he says, "Get me Naruto Uzumaki's files immediately. I don't care what you have to do. Go to Anbu headquarters and get them if needed." In which this ninja, this Anbu would, not Anbu, root ninja would nod, as he goes, if the boy, I know of his heritage. I knew because of basically Hiruzen talking to Jiraiya about it, but still, I must make sure. So, a couple of minutes later, Ryu come back, basically have Naruto's files, and saying about his parents. Basically, he really sighs because he even has blood samples and DNA testing to make sure, in which he says, my nephew had a son who's the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, and I want to make him a weapon. As he has a hollow chuckle, he goes like, my only family. In which basically the root Anbu was like, Lord Danzo. In which he looks at him and with his eye open, not having it always closed, but an eye open that had emotion, sadness, anger, hate. Not basically at the Anbu, but hate, inner hate. For not basically seeing the signs and ignoring them for too long, and now basically trying to make his basically his nephew's son a weapon for Konoha. Everything was for Konoha in his mind, but now this is his family. And basically, he hates himself that he's actually thinking this because he's willing to sacrifice everyone else for Konoha, but not himself. And now, not his nephew, son. As he says, find everyone who basically made Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze's life miserable in the academy. Get information of basically wrongdoings and basically any information you can ever find and bring it to the Hokage. And find anybody who basically took the Uzumaki and Namikaze funds. Take their money out of their accounts and bring in any information to them, to the Hokage, even those of basically the store, the shopping district overcharging the boy, in which they're not asking questions. But the surprise is, though, it goes, Lord Danzo, your emotions are, he goes, I do not care at the moment. My nephew's son is a weapon that I tried to create. And only realizing basically about overhearing from for Jiraiya and basically my foolish ex-teammate Sarutobi that I could not turn him into a weapon unless the seal will backfire on him and release the Nine Tails as he loses control. Which basically the Root Anbu nods and basically disappears and grabs the team though and they leave. When Danzo is about to basically think about now the future and how he worked this to his plans, all of a sudden he hears something in his mind. He goes like, he has awakened. He has found it. Which basically Danzo's eyes widen. He goes, could it be? No. That armor's supposed to be gone. Lost to history and time. As Danzo clutches his cane. As his own inner demon that he has accepted, he has basically used at times in the war. The reason why is Danzo has lost his eye and arm is because of that basically inner demon to let loose and basically kill the people who have killed his brother. He had no care as long as he basically fulfilled what he was doing and used any way to win. And that's what he basically has done. Ever since then, basically. So, we go back to basically the bridge. As basically Sasuke is in basically the whole entire situation with the crystal ice mirrors, and basically then Senbon, and basically have unlocked his Sharingan, or should I say hers, as Sakura is just doing exactly the same thing, along with Zabuza and Kakashi fighting. Now, we go over to Inari and his mother. As Inari is about, running up to them saying, let go of my mom, flailing basically his arms. The whole entire thing is, the actual, goon is about to slice Inari. Before he even the sword even reaches Inari's neck and kill him, all of a sudden the man gets cut in, into two. As immediately the one that was holding Inari's mom dies also. Inari had his eyes closed, but he just sees the man dead, but looks up and sees someone in armor. With this big giant sword in his hand. Looking at him. Then looking at the bridge, in the area where the bridge is. In the distance, it runs. Not human-like, but runs like they're a demon themselves. Which Inari's mom goes over and hugs him, but she goes, Mom, what was that? She goes, I don't know, but we're safe. We're safe. Which he would remember what Naruto said to him one time, and he goes, it's time to be a hero. basically trying to basically bring everyone back to basically their senses and get rid of Gato, which Inari runs basically to get rally the people. So everything at the bridge is happening. The whole entire difference is Haku is fighting Kakashi with Zabuza to help out. Kakashi has a few Zenbons in his basically body, as basically right then and there, Zabuza says, "Time to die, Kakashi of the Sharingan!" He's about to take off basically Kakashi's head. Well, basically about to swing to take it off, as then all of a sudden Kakashi hears a clang. And basically a grunt. From basically that sounds like Zabuza, which a gasp comes from Haku. Which when he looks, he sees this, like basically a 12-year-old kid in armor with this massive sword fighting against Zabuza. As he jumps back and lands. In which basically he's, with the swords at the side, which Zabuza is like, "Who are you?" Which, there's no sound coming from him. No basically, voice. He goes, "Are you not gonna say your name? Are you even missing nin? A hunter nin?" Which nothing. He goes, "Say something to me! Or die!" With that said, basically, this boy in armor, or girl in armor, he does not know, basically stands up, and then roars an inhuman roar, basically. Like, this isn't even a human to begin with, and with basically, all of a sudden, a blaze of speed, happens. Without even warning, Zabuza is on the defensive, as basically this, as Haku basically throwing Zenbon at the person, trying to hit basically in the basic areas of the armor that basically would allow it, but no, they're bouncing off. As Zabuza is thinking, "What the? Who is this kid? Or guy? Or whatever? How is he able to swing that massive sword so fast?" As then basically he was not paying attention, as basically he feels a kick to his stomach, as right then and there, basically, before anything happens, Zabuza basically sees the sword about to be swung down and kill him, as then everyone hears clapping. As basically the sword stops. In which, when they hear it, God goes like, well. Zabuza doing the miss, being defeated by a brat, of all people. You got soft. It's a good thing I wasn't going to pay you, basically, for this job. As Gato says, as Zabuza goes, "Gato, you backstabbing little," as basically a massive amount of killer intent. So strong as Kakashi's even basically, shaking naturally, as he thinks this is almost to the level of the QB, as basically Gato's basically can't feel it, but doesn't even say nothing. He goes like, "Kill all the men here, keep the women alive." So we basically would, use them later. As all the guys look at basically, because to him this is basically now, showing basically Sakura, and basically whoever else. Well, basically Sakura as, that doesn't help them, because all of a sudden the kill intent, rises, basically skyrockets more past the level of the QB, in which Kakashi cannot breathe. As even basically before Gato could even move, he's having trouble breathing along with everyone else. As then that basically this kid that they think all of a sudden roars out and dashes at them with inhuman speeds again, not even of a ninja. And as then basically the first man that dies was not Gato, but was basically one of the members to his side, as then he here just screams, of agony and pain, as basically what Kakashi and Zabuza are seeing, limbs are going flying, body parts are basically, going into the water, blood is being, just being spewed out everywhere, and, people are dying. basically it looked like rain is falling as quickly as he's basically this whoever they see is basically doing. It is not normal, as basically it is basically just pure basically animalistic, like there is nothing basically that's stopping him, as Gado basically cannot move, as well. Before he even says anything, they just see all of a sudden Gado's stomach is being pierced by this blade and being risen up, as then it just gets ripped out and immediately cuts Gado's body, downwards, spewing basically blood outwards and onto the armor, and basically guts flying. So, as basically Zabuza cannot believe it, this kid, this demon, he says, he thinks, killed all of them like it was nothing, as the killer tent is slowly going down, as basically this person who they don't know gets up, and he has the sword basically suddenly go onto his back. As what happens next is when they get in closer, Inari basically doesn't, it's not there yet, but shocking to most, all of a sudden basically a red hue chakra is going over the armor, and then shot behind him, burned the body in the blood, evaporating it, and like it was never there. Well, but not body, but bodies. And Kakashi cannot believe it. He says, no, it couldn't be. Could it? As basically the armor basically heads slowly, it sounds like basically it's like literally like coming off. Basically like changing as it just suddenly basically comes off and reveals basically Naruto as without anyone knowing or not ever knew, Naruto basically has this look in his eyes of pure seriousness, and basically with no care for anything else but his goals or dreams or his perseverance to live. But Kakashi knows that basically some part of his hair is red now, which basically Zabuza goes like, Gaki? You were the one to... He goes, yeah, I was the one to kill them all. You want to be next on my list? As in he reaches towards the handle, basically the Dragon Slayer's sword, which Zabuza just nods no. He goes, good. Since basically you're not required to be here no more because of the client. Well, your client's dead and basically backstabbed you. You can leave. Which he's just walking past Zabuza. He goes, don't you need my head for a bounty? Which Naruto looks at him. He goes like, I'm not a bounty hunter, but I wouldn't mind taking it for some extra, cash. After all, my landlord's been charging me more money lately. As he had this grin on him. As Zabuza basically, about to, even though he's scared this kid at the moment, he's about to, fight. As in Haku gets in the way, which Naruto basically raises up an eyebrow. He goes, oh, you're the Hunter Nin. Him and Haku never had to talk, about precious people and such, but Naruto had it already, because of basically the scrolls and such, and basically the seal, and basically keeping those who are precious to you there, and basically keep that memory of them and fight for them, basically, in a sense. So yeah, which Haku goes like, I will not let you kill basically Zabuza-sama, basically, which Naruto just started chuckling, goes like, I was joking, jeez. Can't take a joke? Which, basically, Zabuza goes like, you weren't joking. He goes, maybe I wasn't. It's just finally good to let go of my mask, finally. Which, he starts popping, basically, his joints, but with the armor, sounds like, the armor's creaking underneath his, hand. In which, basically, I want to say this, Naruto, there's basically have been many seals added to it, which Naruto doesn't even know yet, because, he went through all the scrolls he could, and yet, even though basically they, even though I said the scrolls that were, that he, I said already, yeah, that's only ones he could read. There's a lot more there. As then all of a sudden Naruto basically, basically feels his chakra being pulled, and then all of a sudden his basically outfit, well, his armor suddenly changes into basically a more reasonable clothing that he would like. Basically, long sleeve, well, long sleeve black shirt, basically black pants, combat boots, fingerless gloves, and basically he's basically just smirking at it, because basically he also has basically this jacket that has no sleeves and such, but a hood. This will work. Which Kakashi goes like, Naruto, you just killed them? Yeah. You're not. Are you? It's not my first kills I made, Kakashi. Which he goes, huh? What do you mean? He goes, I've killed before. I don't enjoy it, but well, actually I do enjoy to get rid of scumbags, but I don't enjoy killing basically lives, even though I get pissed off at them. People like those deserve to die. I know that much already. As long as I don't truly enjoy every kill, then I may not be a monster, but I've accepted that I have an inner demon, and it's not basically the furball. As Kakashi's eyes widen. So, Naruto basically sees Sakura crying over Sasuke, as then basically he looks over basically Zabuza and the hunter, and basically Haku, which is the hunter Nin. He goes, Oi, masked guy or girl, don't really care. My teammate, is he dead? Which Haku nods no. Only a death-like state, basically, Haku would say. He goes, alright. Hey, Haruno, stop crying already. Sasuke ain't dead. Which she looks up and she's about to say something, but she sees Naruto in his new attire, and basically she's actually shocked. She goes, but then she gets mad. He goes like, "He is dead, Naruto Baka. Sasuke's dead." As he just sighs, he goes, "Useless like always." Which her eyes widen, and he goes over and basically takes the Zenbon out of Sasuke's neck and gently rips it out. Which basically, as he does so with the other ones, that basically would harm him. Well, harm them if he starts. Harm him if he starts moving. In which, well, after that, Sasuke's eyes are opening, and he goes, "What? What happened?" Which he goes, "Easy. Zabuza was betrayed by his client, and well, they're all dead. Well, because he brought men with him. Get up. Get up if you can. Mission's done. Just gotta wait till the bridge is basically built." Which, while Naruto was basically removing the needles from Sasuke, Inari and the towns came over, and, well, Naruto brought hope back to the village, back to Wave Country. And basically, Tazuna would we look at Naruto, when Naruto's walking past him, and stop him. Which Naruto has an irritated look on his face. He goes, "I'm not gonna ask why basically you killed them all without any mercy and what was going on with you. I only know basically after what the that Haruno girl said to you, you left in a bad mood." Which Naruto just nods slowly. He goes like, "But still, even if that wasn't basically what I suspected I could handle, because of all the gore, I thank you, Naruto Uzumaki, for bringing hope back to basically my grandson and the people here." Which Naruto just sighs and has a light chuckle. He goes, "Don't thank me yet. We still got this bridge to build." Which Tazuna look at Naruto and smile and nod. And so, after that, Kakashi talks to Naruto about the armor. Basically, he would look at basically Kakashi and saying, "What about my clan?" Which Kakashi's eyes widen. He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Don't play dumb with me, Kakashi Hatake. The Uzumaki clan. I know about them. So don't try to bullshit your way out of this." Which Kakashi will sigh. He goes, "Yes, you have a clan. But it's nearly extinct, or is extinct, and you're the only last remaining one." So he goes, "So that means I'm under the CRA. Great." the craw. Which Kakashi goes, how do you... I'm not an idiot, Kakashi Sensei. I've been smart the whole entire time. I've just been hiding my intelligence so I don't get harmed. Which Kakashi's eyes widen. And he goes, but what about... He goes, oh, the people who basically been trying to stop my growth? Yeah, they did. Everything else I learned was basically after I got the cage bunchen. I read about basically the memory transfer, and I've been using it basically ever since the past D-rank missions to go to the library with my henge and basically read everything I could. So, I know about the policies of Konoha and such. Man. If I really had to go, I don't want to have to go back there so soon, but the bridge will be done soon anyways. I have to see all those demons again. Which Kakashi goes like, demons? The villagers. They're nothing more than demons to me. Which Kakashi's eyes will widen. Well, not eye, but eyes, I mean eye. So, in a sense, though, the bridge gets done. But now we have a predicament with Hiruzen. Hiruzen is basically looking at a letter that he has not opened up since, well, he got it from Minato after his, well, basically from a toad after his death, I meant to say. Minato's death. As he sighs and finally opens it, he goes, Dear old monkey, I just want to say this. I'm very disappointed in you and basically Jiraiya. Which Hiruzen's eyes widen because he is shocked by this. He goes, I know what you basically and Jiraiya planned for me and Kushina when we were kids. The reason why you were so adamant about me basically being on the same team as her. After I saved her. Look, I understand basically we ninjas basically, plan things from the shadows and basically manipulate to where we can have something work, but I'm not happy with you and basically Jiraiya basically planning behind my back of who I should be with. Look, so I decided to basically to tell Kushina about it, and she was furious with you both when we were getting. So we made a plan. We basically tried to find our people while while we were getting close. So we tried to find people we can like and date without you two knowing, and we did. But most of them just wanted basically power for me and fame fame. Because they would be my wife, while the others just wanted Kushina for, well, But in the end, your plan worked, sort of. We did get together, not basically by your influence, but by becoming good friends. By falling in love with her due to our personalities and likes. So, I want to thank you for that at least. But I will not forgive you if you even basically try to use my son as a weapon. I do not trust you or Jiraiya. That is why I have someone else as basically as Naruto's true godfather. After I found it out. Which Hiruzen would sigh, and basically understand Minato's reason. And Tsunade is Naruto's godmother. If I find out basically you and Jiraiya lied about this, to her that he's dead, you better hope she basically goes easy on you in your old age, old monkey. Which basically Hiruzen basically did not do that. And so, after he puts down the letter, he decides again to be like, well, I can understand Minato's anger with me if he only knew the truth. But Jiraiya, I was truly disappointed basically by this. Well, as he remembers what Jiraiya was saying and such, and he decides again because of, his wayward, basically his student, that basically thinking trying to basically get Minato with Kushina for basically Uzumaki's not wealth, but basically seals. Basically, he wanted to basically at least take a look at them and such, which basically maybe a little bit basically the fortune to him and such and yada yada yada. So I just said it like that because it's like just go on the list basically. But for this one, Hiruzen basically just kind of chuckles like, and this old man only wanted basically what's best for his old friend's daughter. Well, he did not understand. Well, he did not know the truth at the time, and I could never tell him. I should have told him like I should have told Naruto the truth about his heritage. I made many mistakes. But maybe I should, as all of a sudden, the door opens with Danzo walking in with basically Root Anbu right behind him with multiple stacks of paper. Which, Hiruzen's in shock, he goes, Danzo, I thought I basically told you to get rid of... Wait, why do you have paperwork for me? He goes, not paperwork, Hiruzen, evidence. Evidence of basically our Jinchuriki has been, weak this whole entire time because of idiots. Which he goes, what do you mean? As basically he shows paperwork of sabotage of Naruto's papers, studies, curriculums, and all that, and even books. Every, down to the last detail. Even basically Naruto being overcharged twice, 3 times, 5 times the amount of money of a normal, basically, a normal store of the civilian council, civilians have, which many more basically, many more paperwork is there. In which basically Hiruzen's eyes widen. He goes, how many stores have done this? Which basically says that this ninja, this root has paperwork of his basically school. For ever since he was in the academy. Which is why it's less than basically, as he shows his other 3 Anbu who has, his shopping expenses and how much basically they charge Naruto. And basically, he goes, and how is the food quality? Rotten, near rotten, or absolute rotten? Well, rotten, basically, not even basically even worth scraps. Which Hiruzen sighs and goes, I've left these basically civilians. He goes, yes. And it's infuriating with a ninja of Konoha because it still goes on today. Which Hiruzen gets up, he goes like, what? Which Danzo says, and it looks like basically these civilians do not understand the meaning of a ninja of Konoha. Which, for some reason, Hiruzen sees a flame in Danzo's eyes he hadn't seen in a while. Emotions. Anger, basically. And that anger, though, is not at him. It still slightly scares him by what Danzo did with that anger. He just sighs, he's like, so all this evidence to arrest the civilian councils that have basically caused a problem, and have Ibiki get every information they've seen because some of them even cause treason, as he basically brings up basically the top paper of the 3rd, Root Anbu with it for the civilians shopping, as Hiruzen's eyes widen because they sold basically information to basically enemy ninjas. As this basically gets Hiruzen angry as he ordered his Anbu to get the civilian council and the ninja council and the 2 other elders, Homura and basically Mamura, whatever. As he basically, while the Root Anbu basically, put the papers on the table, on a different table, and they leave, which Hiruzen asks, Danzo, I know, my emotions. Do not worry, Sarutobi. They will not go extinguished no more. Which Hiruzen's eyes widen. He goes, why is that? As he just gives him the paper and walks out. As Hiruzen opens up the folder, as he drops it, he cannot believe it. he sees basically Saito Shimura, Danzo Shimura, Minato Namikaze, and Naruto Uzumaki's blood matching, and basically a description report on how they're matching and such, which even shows basically at the arrows where, which he goes, Naruto is related to Danzo? That means he kind of has a smile that his old basically friend is back now. Danzo Shimura, the basically the demon of the wind, demon of the wind, or basically wind demon is back. And so, yes, they said the council will have a meeting, but it's basically just many of the people on the civilian council is going to be gone, and also basically for the Hyuga Hazashi to get rid of the Hyugas that have been a thorn in his side for far too long, because they have worked with the civilian council on some things, including the kidnapping of one Hyuga, not Hyuga Hinata. So yes, the Hyuga Council is not going to be around. But yeah. So, I mean, Hazashi was pissed. The only one that would not be, basically, only two people that are not arrested were basically Haruna Sakura, basically Sakura's mom, and basically a blacksmith that was a ninja that retired. Tenten's father, Higurashi. He sighs, like, I always knew those guys were being fair to the kid, but man, selling secrets to basically our enemies, they didn't anything for power. So, yeah. Basically, Hiruzen read off every paper that he could, and he was furious because they even took money out of Naruto's inheritance. How they got into it, he does not know, but it might have been because the banker knew someone in the capital, where basically the money was there, in which the daimyo was basically the one who basically looked at it. So, yeah, basically, the daimyo will get a letter, but yeah. So after that, we could go back to Naruto, as basically Naruto would basically be looking at Nari, saying goodbye to him, and Nari basically saying goodbye and saying sorry he had the way he did, and yada yada, and blah blah blah. The whole goodbye thing as they will leave. What happens is this. They basically named it the Great Naruto Bridge, but I want to say this: Sakura has been quiet. She basically tries to belittle Naruto, but he does not care, never even looks at her. Just walks forward while she's been talking to Sasuke. Trying to talk to Sasuke, Sasuke's ignoring her. In which Kakashi goes, finally asks, Naruto. He goes, huh? That rage of yours. Which he goes, what about it? You seem to not let it go, because I can still feel it coming off of you in little waves, which that kind of shocks, Sakura and Sasuke, or Sasuke, which he just kind of chuckles. He goes, of course, because I have no reason to let it go, or stop being angry. Because that ain't good for you. He goes, which basically Naruto would just look at him, and he goes, so? Keeps me alert, keeps me focused. And I know it'll blind me, but I have control over my anger. After all, it's not like the first time I basically let loose in my anger like that. But it's been a long time. Especially since I killed somebody. In which basically Sakura's in shock. She goes, you really are a demon. Which Naruto just looks at, not demon, she called monster. Which Naruto will look at her and goes like, we're ninjas. This is the harsh truth, Sakura. Get over it. We kill. We'll kill to survive. Kill others just to keep on living. We'll basically destroy the strong, while the weak will also die. Strong will die, weak will die. You will die, I will die in battle. We all will die eventually. It's not basically a hard truth. Besides, you never killed somebody before. And she was like, yeah, how did you kill them? And he just looks at her again. He goes, with my killer tent. Which basically Kakashi goes like, how? Which even Sasuke is actually curious. Well, Sasuke, he was like, easy. 3 civilians were about to kill my best friend. They're about to kill her. And I wasn't going to let that stand. Which basically Sasuke goes like, wait, do you even know her name? He just nods no. Basically he looks at Sasuke. All I know is she was a Uchiha. She's my very first friend. He has basically a smile that basically, well, has basically some happiness but also some sadness in it. Which basically Kashi goes, what happened to her? Was she... He just nods. Well, he just says no, she was not in the massacre, I think. Which Sasuke, is looking at Naruto with eyes wide and cannot believe it. Which basically, though, as Sasuke like, were you the one who took her to the hospital? Which Naruto stops and looks at Sasuke and goes like, how do you know her? Which, basically, Sasuke goes, she's my cousin. She went out of the village and, well, because her parents thought it would be a good idea since the villagers were trying to kill her. Which Naruto just does like, stupid idiots. Killing someone innocent just because they knew me? That was my friend? Which, basically, that kind of shocks Sakura. But Kakashi realized it makes sense now those 3 were dead. No wounds, no nothing. He killed them with his very killer intent. So yeah, Naruto would just sigh and basically, let's get back to Konoha. So I can get home and basically be ignored by all those people. Ugh. So yeah, they travel back to Konoha. And well, when they get back, basically Naruto's going to say a lot of things to Hiruzen. Also, Hiruzen basically asks Danzo what he wants to do, which Danzo says he does not want Naruto to know anything about him. Which kind of shocked, but also kind of curious why. He goes like, if anyone knew basically about my actions, what I have taken, which Hiruzen narrowed his eyes, he goes, all for the good of Konoha. Well, let's just say we may have another war on our hands. Which not Kakashi, but Hiruzen cannot believe it. He goes, and besides, I have not been in the boy's life for years now, and I want to make him a weapon. I'll leave him stuff from time to time. Have my root basically to watch over him from time to time or all the time. And maybe even have some of them train him. Besides, I think he has awakened basically my family's burden. Which Hiruzen's eyes widen and nod. He wants to know how he unlocked basically the burden. Basically to Danzo and his family, the burden is basically to deal with basically the other you that you basically keep inside your demon, your inner demon, basically in check. As basically those who do so will become immensely powerful, but will be viewed as a monster. So, when Naruto and his group gets back, Sasuke's been a little bit more cheerful. Well, not cheerful, but a little bit more nicer to Naruto. Can talk to him more and such, and having basically heart to hearts. While Sakura has been always annoyed, which she is being jealous of Naruto now. And so we would have Naruto basically, go with Kakashi, Sakura, and Sasuke or Sasuke basically get to the Hokage basically tower for the report. And well, basically, Hiruzen was shocked by what Naruto had done, and he doesn't see no regret, well, no basically signs of guilt or basically, scared, since basically he knows what Naruto did. Yeah. But he does see, though, a slight, you know, when basically Kakashi was talking about how Naruto was killing, well, how he was fighting against the bandits and how Gato died, he did basically shake a bit, but then, got rid of it. Showing that he is not basically, basically it was not the Kyuubi, it was Naruto and such, and yeah, and basically, that he has not lost himself. Which, that is true, because, he was shaking because he still cannot believe what he did. He just basically was very, calm about everything, and not basically let it get to him. But now, hearing it from someone's first eye perspective, well, their own perspective, it was very, gory, which he even basically winces or basically shakes at that. So, basically, Hiruzen will be like, Naruto, this armor you have, may I see you wear it? Which he just shrugs and like, sure. As all of a sudden, basically, a seal basically is on the armor as it morphs him back into the armor. In which basically Hiruzen asks, could you even lift that sword? He goes, yeah, but I'm not gonna put it in here ever since, well, it may cause some damage. Which Hiruzen nods as the armor turns back into clothing. Well, looks like clothing. So, he basically, Hiruzen just nodded and basically saying, alright. Oh yeah, by the way, they did raid basically Gato's base. So basically, Wave does have money. So yeah. So anyways, as basically, he will basically dismiss Team 7, Naruto will talk to Hiruzen. Will want to talk to him as he stays, which he would ask basically for him to set up a privacy seals, which Hiruzen would, and ask him what's wrong. He goes, the Uzumaki clan, my mother's inheritance. Which Hiruzen's eyes widen and he goes like, he goes, who do you think basically fixed this armor? Which he would sigh, basically goes like, those Uzumakis. Well, alright. It seems you have been hiding your true skills even from me, Naruto, so I do not know how truly strong you are, especially with this armor on you now. But yes, you have a clan, and you are the last of your member, so I'm going to have to be in the CRA. Clan Restoration Act, which basically Hiruzen will nod. If you choose so, it will be after Chunin. If you make Chunin, that is. Which Naruto shrugs and be like, that'll be easy. In its own way, Naruto would say. Which Hiruzen would chuckle. So, he would ask if you want to know anything about your mother or father and such, and he would ask basically about his mother and a little bit about his father. And, well, Hiruzen basically almost slipped up saying basically who his father was and such, and yeah. I would say I want to keep going, but it's been 1 hour and 14 minutes. So, I would say, though, Naruto would go to basically his home and finally take a rest, while Sasuke would get home and release her genjutsu basically from the seal and just sigh and be like, I can't believe he still remembers. As basically she's, she holds in basically her arms as she feels the scars underneath the, fabric. And she kind of has a smile on her face. She goes, should I tell him that I'm still alive? And Sasuke is just a persona my dad made ever since I was attacked by then? Maybe. I have to think about it more. But She has basically Sasuke has a smile on her face at least, and says, "At least Naruto basically still remembers me." And I should really talk to Ino about this. It's a good thing she knows I'm only basically pretending to be a guy since our family was close with each other. Yes, the Yamanakas and their Chihas were close, like the Namikaze slash Uzumakis were close too. So, in a sense, Suki will basically go to change, but turn back into Sasuke and go train for a good bit. But anyways, this is where I'm gonna leave it off, everyone. Hope you guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are. Bye, everyone.